As Becky sat in the small park cafe, her gaze wandered to the playground just beyond the patio railing. She had come here for some quiet time, to take a breather from the relentless pace of her career. The laughter of children filled the air, a symphony of innocence that reminded her of simpler times. But then, amidst the giggles, a harsher sound cut through, a voice sharp with cruelty. She turned her head, her sharp instincts kicking. By the swings, she spotted a group of older kids surrounding a smaller boy. The boy's shoulders slumped, his head bowed as their taunts echoed. "You're too weak to play with us. Why don't you just go home, loser?" The words were arrows, each one piercing the child's fragile confidence. Becky's stomach tightened. Memories of her own childhood flashed before her eyes. Those moments when she felt like an outsider, when she had to fight to prove she belonged. She couldn't just sit there and let this happen. Becky stood, her movements deliberate but unhurried, and made her way toward the playground. The cafe patio grew quieter as a few onlookers noticed her heading toward the scene. Her fiery red hair and unmistakable presence were hard to miss. As she approached, she caught snippets of the conversation. "You're never going to be anything, just like your stupid backpack," one of the bullies sneered, kicking the boy's bag. Becky's voice rang out, calm yet commanding. "Oi, what's going on here?" The group of kids froze, their faces pale as they turned to see the towering figure of Becky Lynch. Even if they weren't wrestling fans, they could sense her authority, the kind that comes from someone who doesn't back down. The bullied boy looked up, his tear-streaked face etched with surprise and a flicker of hope. "Who are you?" one of the bullies asked, trying to sound defiant but failing miserably. Becky knelt beside the boy, her voice soft as she asked, "You okay, lad?" The boy hesitated, glancing at the bullies before nodding slightly, but his trembling hands betrayed him. Becky stood, her full height now towering over the group of bullies. "Let me tell you a little something," she began, her Irish accent adding a melodic edge to her words. "When I was your age, people used to say things to me, too. They told me I wasn't good enough, that I didn't belong. But you know what I did?" The bullies exchanged uneasy glances, unsure how to respond. "They told me I wasn't good enough, that I didn't belong. I proved them wrong," Becky said, her voice growing firmer. "Not by tearing others down, but by building myself up. You see, being mean, that's easy, but being kind, standing up for someone, that takes real strength." One of the older kids shuffled uncomfortably. "We were just joking," he muttered. "Joking?" Becky's eyes narrowed, her tone sharp enough to cut through steel. "Does he look like he's laughing?" The bullies mumbled apologies, clearly eager to escape her piercing gaze. Becky stepped aside, gesturing toward the open park. "Go on then, and remember, strongest people are the ones who lift others up, not the ones who push them down." The group scattered quickly, their bravado evaporating. Becky turned back to the boy, crouching down to his level. "What's your name, champ?" "Oliver," he whispered, wiping his face with the sleeve of his too big sweater. "Well, Oliver," Becky said, her tone warm. "Those lads, they don't know a thing about you. But I see something special. You've got a fighter's heart. Don't ever let anyone dim your light. All right?" Oliver nodded, his lips trembling into a small smile. "Now, let's see about your bag," Becky said, picking it up and dusting it off. She noticed a small hand-drawn logo on the corner. "You draw this?" Oliver nodded again, this time with a bit more confidence. "It's my superhero logo. I want to make comics one day." "Superhero," Becky grinned. "Well, every great hero has a moment when they're tested. This was yours. And you passed, with flying colors." By now, a small crowd had gathered, parents and children alike, watching the scene unfold. A woman rushed forward. It was Oliver's mother. "Is everything okay?" she asked, her eyes darting between Becky and her son. "Better than okay," Becky said, standing up. "You've got yourself a brave lad here." Oliver's mother knelt to hug him tightly, her gratitude evident in her eyes. But Becky wasn't done. She turned to the crowd, her voice carrying the weight of a message she needed them all to hear. "Kindness isn't just about being nice," she said. "It's about standing up for what's right. It's about seeing someone who's struggling and saying, I've got your back. We've all been Oliver at some point. And we've all had the chance to be the ones who step in and make a difference. The crowd murmured in agreement, a few clapping softly. Enjoying the video? Don't forget to subscribe. It's completely free and helps us bring you more awesome content. As Becky walked back toward the cafe, Oliver called out, "Thank you." She turned, giving him a wink and a thumbs up. Keep drawing those heroes, Oliver. The world needs them. Later that day, Becky posted a message to her fans on social media. Today, I saw something that reminded me why we fight, why we stand tall. A young lad faced bullies and showed more courage than they could ever understand. Remember, your words and actions matter. Let's choose kindness always. The story quickly spread, touching hearts across the world. Fans shared their own stories of overcoming bullying, of moments when someone's kindness had made all the difference. For Oliver, that day became a turning point. He carried Becky's words with him, a shield against the negativity that once seemed insurmountable. And for Becky, it was a reminder that her influence extended far beyond the wrestling ring. Sometimes, heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they wear aprons, backpacks, or wrestling boots. And sometimes, all it takes to change a life is a kind word and the courage to act.